it's an amazing thing when you happen to run into what you're born to do. I have a gift that I didn't know I had that I get from my mom. I call it the gift of relationships,
Sure.
right? Where everywhere I go, I never meet a stranger. Mom was like that,
Yeah.
right? And in the space that we met, I feel the same way. As soon as I walked into that place, people there gravitated to me. Mark gravitated to me. And everybody seen it, just a natural thing. Now, uh, we can open the other side of that later, because there are some things that I think we have to guard ourselves and not let people in too quick.
So before we get jumping a little forward, what did you go to school for, and where did you go to school for your second half of your life?
So I went to seminary. It's a school.
I'm sorry, let me cut you off real quick. That whatever you're banging on the desk, it's really loud.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. No. You probably don't even realize it.
Yeah. I went to seminary, Baptist seminary. It's called Andersonville Theological Seminary. And I got my bachelor's in basic Christian counseling and pastoral care.
Okay.
And then I got my master's in the same school. I got my master's in group therapy, also in family crisis, and marriage counseling. And then I finished with my doctorate in family, marriage, and pastoral therapy. So it was just something that I wanted to do, to really understand the mind of people that are in different relationships, or that people that deal with people, and are stressed out for whatever reason, and we can help them. In the package as well, there are certifications that I have for substance abuse, sexual therapy, things like that. So it's a real cool. It's a real
So
cool
would you
space.
consider yourself a counselor, a therapist, or a pastor, or all three?
I think it's a combination of all three. The irony there is that I never wanted to be a pastor, because I saw what it did to my dad on the back end. But
Right.
I've been an ordained pastor for probably 14, 15 years.
Okay.
And so that's what I was groomed to be. That's what I ran from. But God had other plans.
That's awesome. And in case you're wondering, Derek, we met at the private cigar club I belong to. They made me a member, by the way. Mark gave me my fellow the other day.
Good,
Yeah, he got me hooked up. And
is he the guy that made the mistake of doing that, or is this some? I mean, I'm just I'm just trying to figure it out. No,
they didn't have to call for no references or anything like that. Obviously,
he did no background check.
He didn't call your boy here.
He's in trouble. No, but
he walked in there with a Phillies like a or a Swisher Sweet.
Yeah, that's not even close.
Eddie puts down his Rocky Patel. And
come on, man. There you go.
No,
That's
so we go
funny.
there every Monday night. We have a Bible study there, and that's where I met Eddie, and been going there for a month now, and met some great guys. The guy who was on our show last week, that's where I met him also. Rohan. Mm-hmm. And it's turning into quite the new adventure for me. So
what's the name of the place you go to? I swear I've seen it somewhere else.
After Dark.
After Dark Cigars.
And you know what's funny is that my mechanic is right next door.
Yeah, Danny.
I
know Danny.
I've been going to Danny for 11 years. Never knew that After Dark was right next to him.
So
because it's a private members only.
Right. And how long has After Dark been there?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So in 2003, I worked down the street, the corner of Kissimmee and McGuire. There's a car dealership right there.
Right.
It used to be called Mr. Repo, and we were probably Ocoee, Winter Garden, south of Popka's like biggest buy here, pay here car dealership. And Danny was our mechanic. So I've known Danny for 20 plus,
good guy. He's
forever.
always taking
He's a great guy. He's always happy. Every time I see him, he's always got a smile.
Yeah.
That's because he's making money. Who you kidding?
Oof.
So that's where we met, in case you're wondering, Derek, which I invite you to all the time, but you don't want to go to Bible study.
That's not true.
Will you stop it? I'm messing with you. Don't get all offended.
Hey, I'm researching the company right now, so I'm in like serious mode.
You guys would be surprised, and this is funny.
It's not
because
too old.
I will tell people that I go to a cigar and a Bible study at a cigar lounge. I wouldn't call it a bar. I'd call it a cigar lounge.
It's a lounge, yeah.
Yeah. And people are like, "Oh my God, Bibles and cigars. Oh, you sinner." I'm like, "Do you know how many pastors?
You're freaking
You know how many
Southern
pastors
Baptist
go there?"
church you grew up in? Come on.
Dude, I'm telling you,
no one says
the religious people will say it.
But that's real. That's real, because in my circle, and I'll be honest with you, I'm very conservative, right? And when it comes to most of my life and the things that I represent.
Most Christians are, I would hope.
And
wow,
except
Zak, yes, TDS.
The last thing that I expected, the last thing that I expected is sitting there after going there a couple of weeks with a neighbor that was a member. That's a member. Is I'm smoking a cigar. Mark, the owner, he comes, sits next to me, and he looks at me. He says, "Hey, Eddie, let me ask you a question." I said, well, "Yeah, shoot. What's up?" And he says, "Are you a believer?" And I went, "Yeah, I sure am." And he says, "Because we do this thing on Monday nights called Bible and Cigars. I would love for you to start coming." Everything within me that's conservative, that's religious, that's been framed a certain way in a box was like, that's sacrilegious. How can you? I went there because that's part of the entire mindset of our religious beliefs, our foundation. And it was like, it was cool, but at the same time, it was crazy.
Right.
And after the first time I went, I was like, God, you have a sense of humor. What are you doing? Like, is this for real? Like, Are you showing up in these spaces too? And he had to slap me around. And basically what I felt was like, I show up at every space.
Yep.
Right. I go to people. If they don't come to me, I'll go to them.
Well, two things that I love about it. Pastor Wayne, who's 78 years old, he's been a pastor for 55 years. He's leading Bible study the other night, smoking a burner, got a heater going. This is awesome.
And went deep too.
And he did. He opened my eyes. Like, I know that scripture very, very well.
Yeah, we all do.
When he started teaching about it in the Greek, I was just like, oh, interesting. Yeah. And then I said to my wife, I said, does it bother you that I go to the cigar shop on Mondays? And she goes, are you going to Bible study? I go, yeah. She goes, then why would I have a problem? Okay. We're cool.
Good.
She's just like, just leave your dirty clothes outside, you stinky. You know?
Yeah.
And that was Greek for, do you have to leave the house to do it? And he said, yeah. And she said, then you go to
I like that.
But that's a joke.
I know. I got you. Thank you. My friend,
just so you know, and don't get sensitive on me.
Am I ever sensitive?
I think you're closet sensitive.
Oh, stop it.
But anyone who claims thick skin, I think isn't. Like,
I'm a rhino.
There's sensitive, non-sensitive, and then real, and then not real. And I think real and non-sensitive are not perfectly aligned.
Well, I'm a rhino, so I got 7-inch thick skin. No, but so my friend Christopher Smullins took me there, who is like the forever in school kid. This guy's got like 37 doctorates. I mean, he's ridiculous, and now he's finishing up, I think, his law degree right now. So he's going to be Dr. Esquire. It's just stop.
Wow, that sounds esteemed.
Yeah, he's very, he like smart people like look at him and go, oh, I feel dumb.
Yeah.
I look at him and I'm like, yeah, I got dropped a lot when I was a kid. So
he's like young Sheldon.
But so Eddie and I got talking, and I found out what he does, and he does relationship and marriage counseling, and I think first of all, it's a fantastic subject to discuss on the show because we love to talk to entrepreneurs, and you're an entrepreneur, and it's also a major necessity. Like, look, I'm old school in the fact that I grew up in, Derek, maybe I'm closet sensitive, whatever. But we were made to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
And like counseling with counseling, like just go rub some dirt on it. You're fine.
Right.
My wife, she's tired of me. Go take a nap, whatever. But in real life, I mean, there's nothing to me, because I've been to counseling. When I went through my first divorce, my only divorce. Let me rephrase that. My only divorce.
Your first marriage. Your only
my
divorce.
First marriage. Thank you. When that was falling apart, I went to counseling, and it was eye opening. I enjoyed it. I'm very cautious of who I allow to counsel, and I think you could probably touch deeper on that because you don't want anybody talking into your life. Like I remember, I was going through a phase in the late 90s. My dad he had cancer. He was dying. Me and my wife's marriage was falling apart. There was a couple things going on, and I was having anxiety attacks like I'd never had before. I don't even know where they came. I thought the first time I had one, my wife rushed me to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack. And anyway, they sent me to a psychiatrist, and all he wanted to do was pump me full of pills. And I'm like, how is this fixing anything? So I take my hat off to you, sir. Kudos. And I think everybody, I don't care how perfect your marriage is. My parents had an amazing marriage. 40 years before my father passed away. He was strong, super strong Christians. My mom just passed away a couple weeks ago. And I always joke that, it's the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, my mother. That's the hierarchy up there. And but even my mom and dad said they'd go talk to, I don't know that they talked to a counselor because my dad was really old school, but I know that they would talk to friends or something if they had like issues. But I don't ever remember them getting in any spats. I think maybe once in my life, my father and mother got into an argument, and my dad actually left the house and went for a walk, and I had to go find him because my mom was mad that he wasn't home. So tell us, as a counselor, do you feel it is a necessity for all marriages or all relationships to sit down and chat?
I have a counselor.
Okay.
Right. He's a confidant. He's a person that gives sound advice. It's important for all of us to understand, whether we're married or not, whether we've failed or not, that it's important to visit every so often a counselor or a therapist. Why? Just like you would maintain your car.
Right.
Every so often you give it a tune up, oil change. What happens to that car? It continues to run and give you what you expect from it. Right? It's the same thing with the institution of marriage. It's important to understand that we get married today, and as the years go by, those two individuals, still in love, still respect each other, but are forever changing.
Sure.
And so for me, that's the curveball, because if you knew that I liked this when we got married or when we met, and all of a sudden I dislike it or I don't care for it, and I don't articulate that to you, at some point, we're going to have some sort of conflict or some sort of difference in a conversation where, you look at each other and say, well, but hold up. When did this happen? When did you not like broccoli anymore? And you don't want to eat it. And I cooked it the way you like it.
Right.
So it's simple things like that that need that should be addressed and should be put on the table. The expectations and expectations are probably one of the biggest factors in any relationship, right? You guys are friends. And if your expectations for each other and what you do and what you're expecting from each other is not revisited, you can always take you can take each other for granted, or
Right.
you can overlook things. So in any relationship, expectations are a big thing. Now, they're so big in marriage that I'll say this. People, we hear people sever their relationship or get divorced because of infidelity, or because of sickness, or because of financial pressures, or because of social status pressures, right? And we'll use those four. But I would submit to you that those are symptoms. That's not the root cause of why they sever.
Right.
Right. The root cause, what I've discovered, is the root cause is unmet expectations. Right. So when people get married, they get into the groove of things, whatever. They have a mental picture of what that looks like or what that's gonna look like. They have an expectation that in most cases they're not detailed about, or they don't talk to you about it because they expect you to know. And this is where you get in the arguments, you get, well, you should know that because blah, 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 or you should know this, or you should have known this. But we forget that we're human and we're not mind readers.
Right.
Right. Just because I'm in the vicinity with you for 10 years doesn't mean that I know what's going through your head. It doesn't mean that I know what you expect at that moment. If you don't come out and tell me, hey, this is what I want, this is what I don't want.
So
And
how
so,
do you uncover that versus someone in a relationship who just simply isn't listening because they're not interested, right? So
okay.
have you ever had that before, right? Where you're talking about, okay, you can't read someone's mind for sure. And then there's situations where like it was communicated to you maybe 10 times and you were not giving it your attention. And you're saying that, but you're wrong. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I think that
You
the
come across that sometimes
yeah, oh, a lot. So let me find this for real real
because
quick.
I don't listen.
All right. Most of us listen to respond, not to understand.
Ah,
Did you get that?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, we
So
have a response we want to say, but
right,
it's funny because you've been talking and I've been writing like 4 things down in my mind, but where it goes is where the response is because you have to, yeah, I got you. And then it turns out to
right,
be better conversation anyway.
right.
Right.
But when you listen to respond, are you really paying attention?
No,
We're
because
not
you're
that
just
good.
thinking about your response and then they're drifting and then you're trying to be polite and not interrupt and they've already drifted 5 minutes beyond that and it's irrelevant at that
Right.
point.
So the gist of the conversation, or the point that that person's trying to make, gets lost in translation because now you have to summarize what you thought you heard. And that's where the misunderstanding comes, because the other part of what they're saying without saying it is volume, right? Tone and body language. And so if you leave it up to a person that wants to, that you want them to respond to you, right? But they haven't listened to understand, it's a lose-lose situation. because it'll go down rabbit holes, and it will be misinterpreted. I teach the speaker listener technique, which takes care of that. And at least you are clear in what you heard and what was said. And it's elementary, and a lot of times we don't like elementary because we think, God, that's stupid, right? I have a key here. So I give these to couples that have issues with communication, because either one always talks, always know what they don't let the other person talk, interrupts, right? We get those things, especially when we're animated and we get upset, right? We're just talking at each other, and everybody's both parties are saying, but they're not saying anything because nothing's being heard, nothing's being understood.
Right.
But with the speaker listener technique, what I tell couples is, when you have something of urgency, when you want to discuss something that matters to you, instead of yelling, instead of being aggressive with it, you grab this, or it could be any object. And it's a cool thing because I had a couple use a football helmet. And you'll get a kick out of this, right? The dynamics. So grab your key, sit down. The person that's going to address the issue is the speaker. They have, in this case, the key. Right? Now, the object is to summarize and get to the point. It's important. Why? Because the listener is going to have to repeat what you said. Right? When they repeat what you said, you can say perfect, or you can say, oh, well, you left this out. Right? So now the message is what? It's clear, correct?
Yep.
It's clear if you summarize it. Now, for women, it's very hard because everything runs together in their minds and they're triggered. And I want to talk about that a little bit, because we're both different, the way that we communicate and the way we think and receive. So now the listener has the ability to now be the speaker. So now I give that key to the person across from me, and they say, well, I've heard what you said. This is my point of view. I might have misunderstood you, but get to the point. And then that person repeats everything that they said. Notice how this is not, this is not rocket science. It's elementary. But what gets achieved is the message is clear and the message is received clear. Now, if it's understood, and then at that point you say, wow, forgive me for thinking this way, or man, you're right, if you can resolve it there, awesome.
Right.
But what happens when you say, but I still believe what I believe, and I think you're wrong, right? And you can't get to a resolution. What I teach my couples is now you get into the negotiation phase.